of the Community Redevelopment Agency, November 2nd, 6:30 p.m. to order. We'll have the invocation by Mayor Gloria and the Pledge of Allegiance.
Good evening, everyone. Shall we bow our heads, please? Dear Lord, we thank you for another day. We thank you for waking us this morning to a beautiful sunshiny day. This is a new day, Lord. It's a day we have not seen before, and it's a day that we will never see again. So, Lord, we thank you for this day. We thank you for all of the activities that you have allowed us to complete today. And we hope that we completed them in a fashion that's satisfactory to you. We ask that you continue to look out for us, that you continue to bless us, and that you continue to lead us down the right path. These things we ask in your name as well as in the name of your Son, Jesus. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Mayor James, senior moment. Roll call, Ms. Parham.
Chair Jones.
Here.
Vice Chair Williams absent. Member Evans.
Here.
Member Page.
Here.
Member Jameson.
Here.
I will hear the approval of the agenda. A motion for the approval.
So moved.
Second.
It has been moved and seconded for the approval of tonight's agenda. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carried 4-0. Approval of minutes.
So moved. Nope, sorry.
That's all right.
I was on the roll.
This is his last CRA, so maybe we'll just let him.
I want to be in the minutes as many times as possible. Just remember that, Ian.
Well, you take it since I won't be no long. You go right ahead.
Did we get a second?
I'll second.
If you were looking for something. Yeah.
Good for you. It has been moved and seconded that we approve the minutes of September 21st, 2017. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those no. They are approved 4-0. The first item of business is the CRA survey results and evaluation. Amanda? I don't know. Can you?
Y'all putting batteries in them? That one's working.
Is that what it is?
Good evening. As you may remember, back in June, I had asked permission to do an evaluation study of how we were doing. This was in anticipation of some legislative issues that we were possibly facing. They did not go through, but they're more than likely going to go through this next year. The bills have already been filed, and it's in the top 3 priority for them to adjust CRAs this year. So this survey and evaluation will give us a good baseline going forward to be able to look ahead and do evaluations each year to monitor the change, and we'll be able to capture how our programs are doing. Wow. Let's see. It's very sensitive.
That was pretty quick.
It's very sensitive. Okay. This is... Yes.
Contagious.
So this is just giving a snapshot of what our CRA looks like. We currently have, and this is from July, so of course it may have been adjusted a little bit, but currently as of July there were 88 commercial and nonprofit businesses located in the district. So we have a number of businesses, probably the majority of High Springs businesses are actually located in the district. The average business has 4 employees. We do have a couple that have larger ones, mainly the restaurants and the nursing home and hospice. And we have many that are single employees, just the owner is the employee. But on average, it's about 4 employees. 27% of our businesses have been here less than 5 years, and 46% have been here more than 20 years, which was a shocking number. But then we take a look at the recession, it makes sense that we don't have very many between 5 and 20 years. It's the case all over. Businesses that started 10 years ago, they just did not make it because of the recession. So we're in a very good position in that we have so many businesses that have been here so long, which shocked me, but that's a great thing. Not the same owners, but the same business. Mm-hmm. Okay, so how are we doing? Our current commercial vacancy rate is 10%. I monitor that in January each year. So in January, I just take a look at all vacancies. When I started in 2015, we had a 27% vacancy rate downtown. So we've seen a good decrease. And I would say it's actually less than that now, but this was in last January. This was January's numbers. Why is that important? Because when we were doing this study, I went and met with the property appraiser, and the number one way that the TIF and the tax assessment is raised is the property's ability to generate income, so rental income. That's how they base the appraised value for commercial properties. So as your vacancy rate goes down, your rents rise. As your rents rise, so does your property values. So that's how we increase our TIF, which is one of our primary purposes, is to increase TIF in the CRA district. So as we work to decrease vacancy rates, we will see our TIF rise, which we have seen and we will continue to see. So we asked the businesses, why did you move here? What is the most important thing? And overwhelming, it was a small town charm. They wanted a small town charm. They thought it was a good business environment, and they were very happy. So how do we contribute to a small town charm? We do it through beautification, we do it through decorations, and we do it through the grant programs. That's mainly it. It's surprising that they're not as concerned about big infrastructure projects, which we know are very important, but they really were overwhelmingly saying that it's small town charm. They like that. All right, so we asked the businesses, what do you think the CRA does very well in the CRA district? And as you can see, over 60% said they think that the CRA does facade grants very well, and then it just went down from there. Over 50% thought that we did we were doing very well with individual business support. So that was working with SCORE and working one-on-one with the business. 50% said we did very well at beautification, and 30% said we were doing very well at marketing the CRA district as a whole. All right, so we also asked them, how do you view our downtown? And as you can see, we are doing very well downtown for cleanliness, infrastructure, parks, visual appeal. This was on a 5-point scale with 5 being perfect and 1 being terrible. So a cleanliness score of 3.9, that's pretty good. Yes, there's room for improvement, but 3.9, that's pretty good.
What are they, when you had infrastructure, what were they basing that on? What infrastructure are they referring to?
Hold on. Sorry, it's just jumping really fast. We asked about streets, sidewalks, water. Mm-hmm.
And things, just that type of stuff?
Yes, general infrastructure of your downtown area is what we asked for. So, we separated out parks and infrastructure just because in most people's minds, they are very different. So green spaces are different than infrastructure. It's not moving. Okay. We also asked them, are the events that we are helping to bring downtown, are they helping the business, your business? And 78% said that yes, of the retail, food, and service. Of course, some businesses, it doesn't matter. The funeral home replied, no, it doesn't matter what events you bring. We love your events, but it doesn't have an effect on us. So, we took those ones out that they just don't have an effect. But 78% of the ones that we would expect to have an effect on said that, yes, at least one CRA event has it. And the biggest one was Folk in the Springs by far. So nearly 70% said that it increased their business during Folk in the Springs. And then we also asked if they would be interested in doing the Friday First, and 57% said they were, which last month we had 17 businesses participate in the Friday First, and just in that one block area. So that was really great, and we're looking to have probably more tomorrow. Not sure why it's jumping so fast.
Just hit the button one time, man.
I'm trying. It's like super sensitive or not at all. Okay. We also asked our businesses, how do you market? And this actually surprised me because we tend to think of small towns. We think of it being mom and pop shops. Nearly 90% are marketing on social media, which we also know to be the best marketing for your money. With $10 on Facebook, you can reach a lot of people, where if you go to the second largest one was print media. It's very expensive. It's very timely to produce. So that's very encouraging that our businesses really are coming up to technology. They struggle with it, and they're always asking me better ways to improve it and who can help them, but they are aware and they are using social media. So what about residential units? We do have 95 residential units in the CRA district. And I also met with the property appraiser about that and asked him, how do we help to improve the assessed value? And that is all caused by renovations and home prices and sales, recent sales. So again, when we put in the facade grants, it does increase the property value, and it does increase the resale value, and that does increase your appraised value. So our TIF goes up because of the grants that we put in. Okay, so we also asked, what can we do better? These were the three things that the businesses stated. There were a couple of others, but these are the ones that we were consistent. They want to see more district-wide marketing. So they would love to see a billboard, but I explained we're not doing a billboard. But they would like to see more district-wide marketing. And the good thing is they're willing to put some skin in the game. They are willing to put up their own money to do district-wide marketing. They also would like to see better signage downtown, and they're interested in a small business relocation survey. So figuring out why businesses move here and how do we attract the best ones and the best fit. So that's what they're interested in us doing. And then we did have some accolades. You can read them later. But overall, CRA, we are doing really well. I was very happy with the results of this. And I will put this together in a formal report before I leave so that whoever comes in will be able to just keep it going. And I'll have all the tools that have already been designed. So does anybody have any questions?
Good job.
Nice, very nice job. Okay, the next item of business is discussion and suggestions of concrete stamps and sidewalk trees. Amanda?
All right. So we are at the phase of our sidewalk design, which is called a 60% design. And what we need to figure out tonight is not really the design that needs to go in. We need to figure out definitively we want a design to go in, and we need to figure out the spacing or about the spacing or, some direction. So we know how, when he's completing his design, how many feet apart they want it. Do we want so many on each sidewalk? Figure out what we want. My recommendation for the actual design would be to do some kind of surveys with the community to figure out get ideas about what they would like to see put forth, and maybe get some local artists to submit some work, and let you, along with the public, decide what would go in there. But that we need to do by February. We would have to have those. It takes about 2 weeks to get a print made into a stamp, so there is time. But tonight we need to definitively say, yes, this is what we want. We want stamps, and about the spacing. We meet with the engineer next week, and I will give him those specs at that time. And I can make recommendations. My recommendation would be to pick a certain number you want to go, maybe on the shorter streets, like 3, and on this longer one, 4, or to do every other, like if I think it's the third example, you will see that it's every other block is a stamp. I think it's.
And how much is the stamp?
They're $200 each to produce.
But it's not $200 per.
No, for the stamp, the
It's
actual
just the stamp.
create the stamp.
So I mean,
Oh, okay.
we can decide to put 100 stamps on the
Yeah, if you wanted to use the
sidewalk.
same
It
stamp,
doesn't-
yes.
It doesn't really increase the cost.
Right.
Stamp.
Oh, okay.
Yes. It's the actual physical stamp that cost.
How big are the blocks going to be, I guess you could say?
Let me see if I can. That's in the next part.
I mean, I know they're pretty long
Yeah,
now.
I
know if
don't
they're
have
gonna
the.
follow the same footing or not.
Yes, I mean, that's standard size what we have now, so that
Okay.
is what we have in here. The stamps, as you can see, we can make them smaller if we don't want them to take the full block. Really, the stamps, you could do just about anything with them. Like, that's why I gave you so many different designs, so you could see they can be fairly detailed. Like I said, we don't need to decide that tonight, but we need to decide that we're going to do them, spacing, and how we're going to decide on getting the stamps, whether we're going to open it up to people or we want to hire someone to come in and do it.
And your recommendation's 4 on each side?
Yes. Well, I would recommend on the long side 4 and 3 on the smaller side. So the First Avenue one is much longer.
Not 4 different ones. Just
No. Yeah. Yeah, no, not 4 different ones. I wouldn't recommend more than 2 different ones. And I put the train because Mr. Booth had suggested the train.
Yes, I like the train.
I'm good with the 3 and 4. I mean,
Yeah, I really want, the only thing I'd be concerned with, I look at this, is if it's up. I don't know what the up is, because I would want to make sure that whatever stamp we put in there, it is flush with the concrete, that
Right.
it's not
Yes.
raised. That
Right.
looks like it's raised.
Yes. Yes,
So
that one is a raised.
You got to keep it flush, because I deal with enough stuff every day at work on things that are up on the sidewalk, so, I would like this one here.
Yes.
I'm not saying that one, but it's embedded into the concrete.
Yes.
There's no raised
DOT
part.
would require that
Yes.
because it's their sidewalk.
Say what?
DOT
Yes.
would require it.
Okay.
Yeah, it would be.
Their state.
That mind then.
me personally, this is just my personal opinion. I'd like to see one of the stamps, just the seal of High Springs. I've seen a couple of cities examples that were like that. I thought they looked good. And then maybe do the other stamp.
The train.
The train, or either ask the public what they want, do
Well, we
some
could
type of
do that.
informal survey. See if they want a train, see if they want something with nature, or see if they want to do like a combination of both. I don't know. I'm not artistic, so I can't do squat.
Me neither.
I'm not either.
I could do a mean stick figure if y'all want to do some stick figures on the sidewalk.
Put your handprints in.
How would we reach the public?
I recommend that we do an online survey. We put it on our website, leave it up for so long, and I would get it out to especially the CRA district.
Yeah,
and we can set it up as a
Okay.
vote, just to get people's ideas.
Okay.
And have a timeline, say you can submit ideas up to this date, and then after that date, go with it. And
Yeah.
Sounds good to me.
I think it'd be great for the publicity too, to get the public involved.
Absolutely.
Okay.
So you guys are okay with the 3 and the 4?
I'm
So
sorry, what?
how would that fit into there? I mean, is that every other one? Is it 3 every other? I mean, where does that fit logistically with the sidewalk?
Well, so when we meet with the engineer next week, we will go over the actual how it would fit. Right now, we don't know. Like, he doesn't know. We met with him once and did a walkthrough. But until he comes and walks through again and tells us, we're not going to know exactly the spacing. I mean, we could say every other, and then if it turns out to be 7, it'd be more than 3 if we do every other.
I mean,
The number doesn't really matter to me. I mean, if you think it looked better every other, we
well,
can
I'm
do
just
every
thinking
other.
if you just said every other one, it would be sort of
Okay.
nice. Then it doesn't cost you anything more.
No.
It's just a stamp. I mean, I'd like to wherever the thing started, and I apologize. I'd like to have the beginning one be the seal,
I agree with that.
and then go with whatever stamp after that. So like maybe at either end you'd have the seal. So as people started, that in between them it would be whatever the other seal is.
I think that's a good idea.
Well,
All right, I'm done.
okay.
I sort of like that too, the seal on either end of the block.
Yeah,
I like that, yeah.
And they're only 200, right?
yeah.
You're talking $400 for
Yeah,
this.
so and we could reuse them for other
Right,
projects.
Jack. You probably pledge some of your salary towards that, wouldn't you?
Yeah, turn his microphone off.
All right, so
have to practice.
I will tell the engineer we've decided to do every other one a seal. And we will get to him by the end of February with what those seals will be.
Good.
Okay.
And what about the tree?
Okay, let's go to the trees. Professor Giacono, I think I'm saying her name, she was unable to come tonight, but she did look over several trees that are sidewalk trees, and this is overwhelmingly what she is recommending for the tree. She says it's very easy to maintain, and it looks pretty in all seasons, and it does not drop any kind of fruit or anything dangerous to cars. So this is her recommendation. So what I'm providing to you is, if you agree with this, unfortunately, the tree board meets after you. Normally, the tree board would look at this first, and then it would come to you, but the way that it's just set up and the way that we have to do this, you're getting it first. So you're kind of would be recommending it to the tree board, who would then be, if they agree with you, would move forward with that.
So where are these trees going?
They're going to replace the trees that are downtown.
In the
Are they on the sidewalk?
Yes.
Well, this is a huge tree.
This is a 50-foot tree and 25-foot wingspan.
Well, it wouldn't be that one. No. In talking with her.
That's the one you just said she recommended.
Right. But not that tree. She said that if you shape them, they do not get that big. You know, this is, if you don't maintain it, you just leave it out in a field, it's going to look
Okay.
like that.
You crop the top, they don't
What is
grow
it?
as much.
Right.
Okay.
A lot of trees, if you cut the top of it off, they
Yes.
just quit growing. They
really?
they don't grow vertical anymore.
Yeah.
And I'm not a tree expert, but I imagine this would be one of those.
Yes. And the same way with the branches on the side. If you trim it off, it doesn't grow. And that's why she's recommending this one.
So how many trees would go in there?
It would replace them all, which I believe is a total of 11. I think it's 11.
So we're talking some fairly good maintenance.
Yes.
I mean, that's my only thing, the maintenance. What about the roots?
So that's why these trees are considered sidewalk trees, because they don't have the roots that spread. They go
That's
down.
huge. I'm concerned with the maintenance.
And that's why she's recommending these ones versus like a lot which was put in pear trees. It's a mess. The trees we have downtown, they were not maintained from the beginning, so then there's a problem now.
It said that it has small nutlets which ripen in the summer and fall. Wouldn't that be something dropping?
So I talked to her about them. They are very small. We're talking not fruit size, nutlets. So like less than a marble. you
I
know.
don't want any.
But are they gonna make a mess when somebody come along and step on it?
And they can trip.
I don't want anything
Stuff
falling.
like that.
Is this the only tree she recommended?
Yes.
Very good, man.
Well, we need to go back to her.
And I don't want anything falling, because if you do it, you're gonna step on it, the color or something, whatever's in it, juice, whatever's gonna get into the concrete.
Right.
And you may slip and
And you
fall.
go trip and fall.
And all of a sudden,
Exactly.
so me personally, I prefer that maybe don't lose anything. Keeps us,
So that's not a litter problem. I don't understand that.
I think we're going to have a hard time finding any tree that doesn't drop something. Just keep in mind, trees tend to drop things.
And we can go to Lowe's and we can get some of those Christmas trees that are made out of
The
plastic.
fake ones.
Leaves are one thing.
Street without sidewalk and use it.
Streets without sidewalks. I mean, what was that?
But
Uses street without sidewalk, so not by the sidewalk. That's what they're saying.
and if you look under page 1 under uses, it's sidewalk cutout trees. That's what ours are considered, sidewalk cutouts.
I don't mind, to me personally, leaves are gonna, so you can get evergreens. I mean, the deal, you can get evergreen trees that aren't gonna do it. If you're gonna fall, I'd rather have a leaf fall, not
Right.
an acorn, not any type of thing that people would step on, squash it, get it into the concrete. I would prefer leaves you can
It's too
brush
bad
off.
she wasn't able to come tonight.
Me personally, I don't want anything that's gonna fall as far as an acorn or any type of, even if it's real small, it's still gonna
Okay.
be a maintenance issue.
I will go back to her and talk to her about that. and
Is this
suggest
something we have to do
evergreen.
tonight? I mean,
No.
pick out the tree? I mean,
No,
there's going
no.
to be a hole there, so it doesn't really matter.
Right, as long as you are saying that there is going to be a tree, that's
I
what
think
we
it
have to
looks-
decide tonight,
Me
is that
personally,
there's
I
going to
think
be
it
a
looks
tree.
better with some type of little ornamental tree. I mean, it
Well,
breaks up
and
the,
shade too, that is, in the summertime, it's nice to have.
gives dogs some place to pee when you bring them downtown.
Understand, when you put a tree in, and I don't disagree with it, you put in the 11 trees or something, you're talking about maintenance, and you get in the summertime, so all of a sudden now somebody's gotta keep them trimmed, they gotta keep them groomed,
Yes.
they gotta keep, I'm just saying, it's nice to have it. We have a small public works, so all of a sudden now, who's gonna make sure that it's groomed properly and it's trimmed, because if you don't, all of a sudden then you've got another issue, so I like the tree part, I just don't know if we're in a position that you're gonna sit there and say it's gonna get the adequate.
I think for the aesthetics, me personally, for the aesthetics, I think it's nice having the trees downtown because it does break up
I agree.
just the concrete. So I would be in favor. I know it's maintenance, it's something that's going to be an ongoing cost, but I mean, it's something that's been there anyways. And
How much maintenance?
like with a
on
lot of
trees?
things, as long as you maintain it a little along and
Yeah.
not just let them get out of hand.
I don't disagree. I agree with you. I just, you got multiple parks going up. We have multiple parks with new playground, which is occupying more time to keep them maintained and ground cover. I'm not being negative. I agree with you. I just don't want us to commit to something and then all of a sudden it's like, bring back a tree that doesn't drop any leaves.
Okay. But not plastic,
fruit.
right?
Drop the leaves.
No fruit,
I don't mind the
Oh,
leaves
no
dropping,
leaves either.
but
I don't want to drop anything. And
whatever these other little things are called, I think that's the issue for me.
is what?
I say I don't mind the leaves dropping. We can blow away the leaves, but these other little things that they're talking about,
I-
the
Not
tree
leaves.
losing, the issue for me.
That's 1 to 3 inches for those fruits. That's a pretty big thing to have laying on the ground, 1 to 3 inches. for
And
somebody to
just as sure as they fall, somebody's gonna step on one and fall.
can slip and-
Without a doubt.
All right, well, I will go back to her and tell her we want something with no falling nuts, preferably an evergreen. We may end up with those tall cypress. That's what I'm thinking. But yeah, I'll get her suggestions, and then.
I don't think it necessarily has to be an evergreen, but just something without any type of nut falling fruit or anything like that.
But it would be good if it was something that was green year round, or as close to year round as you could get.
We only have a month of winter here in Florida.
Isn't that the truth?
As close as you can get. That's why I phrased it that way.
Can we move on from the tree?
That's what you say, plastic.
Put it in an artificial tree. You ain't got to water them, you ain't got to worry about the things. And when the wind comes in, just fold them down.
We are a tree city.
Since I've got a daughter, I'm probably the only one that's going to get this. But in the little cartoon, the Lorax, they have those fake trees. Maybe we can get some of those. You know, if you haven't seen the movie, you don't get the joke.
All right.
But who hasn't heard of Dr. Seuss?
But it's the new movie. Okay, we're getting off on a tangent.
So are we going with the tree though? That's what we have to decide tonight. Is
All right, are we going with the tree?
I vote yes on the tree.
I vote
Do we
yes.
need to put that
I
to
vote
a...
yes on the right tree.
well, we just have to decide if we're doing it. So they put in a blah, a cutout. It's really hard to cut out concrete afterwards.
So we just need to let you know. We don't necessarily need to vote on this, or do we?
No, so she's saying you don't have to decide on the tree tonight, so she can go back to the arborist and come back with other suggestions and you can vote. But the sidewalk engineer needs to know by tonight whether or not you are going to, at some point, select a tree, because that's part of the design on whether or not
Yes.
you're cutting out for the tree or not.
You could leave it open. Maybe you don't do trees, maybe put in a bush or you put in flowers. I'm saying.
True, you can put it in.
I'm just saying, if you didn't do the trees,
Yeah.
I'm just saying, you have the area to grow
cutouts.
And if you didn't do that, you just mulch it.
That's true.
Okay, so we are doing cutout.
Yes.
Okay.
Scott, as old as you are, regardless of what tree was planted there, by the time it got too big and
I got
unmanageable.
a phone call.
On his flip phone.
Hopefully it's not a text. It's going to take him 20 minutes.
All right, so we got cutouts and we figured out the stamps. Okay.
Okay.
All right, next we move on to the actual 60% plan. I did meet with Mr. Booth and the building official and the public works director, and we have looked over these plans, and we have no concerns about the sidewalk plans, but I would be happy to walk through it as much as possible as I can. Again, I'm not an engineer, but I can read these basically. We're really not changing it a whole lot as far as where the light poles would go. It just goes into detail about, elevation changes, and they already had put in all the handicapped ramps to ADA when they came through and did the streets, so we are not doing the handicap portions of it. We are just doing the parts that are in between and the step down. And as you can see, they do include a step down in there. There's no way to get rid of the step down, and I don't think we would want to anyway. Honestly, I think it gives it character to have the step down. So does anybody
So
have any?
it's pretty much not changing anything. It's just redoing what's already there.
Yes. It is going to look a little different. If you look on page 2, you will see that what's that called, a textured sidewalk detail. What that is on the edge of your sidewalk where there's a step down, they're going to put that to separate, so people have a visual separation between the step down and the sidewalk.
But that's pretty much just going to be something that's stamped on there?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yes, it's
And
not.
that's going to be on the actual step down?
No, it's on the top before you step down.
Okay.
The step down more than likely is going to be painted yellow. That DOT is going to require us to paint it yellow, just like on the curbs.
Okay.
So does anybody have any questions? If not, like I said, we are meeting with the engineer on Wednesday. If you guys want to come take a tour, it's Wednesday at 2 o'clock. We will be walking on the sidewalk.
Tell me again about the handicap.
That's right. Huh?
What'd you say about the handicap?
So when DOT came through and did the resurfacing, they were required to do all of the handicap ramps at that time. So if you look, they've already put them all in. So we will not be required to put in handicap ramps. And they also have what is considered a 90% rule in historic downtowns, that 90% of the buildings have to be ADA compliant, and that, you know, they have to be able to go in. So we're not going to have a straight sidewalk. It's going to go up and down a little bit, but there's no way you're going to reach 100% on every building, and they're aware of that. So with historic districts, you have that leniency there.
Gotcha.
So DOT is going to be reviewing this along with us at the same time, so there should be no problems. They as soon as we vote, as soon as you guys approve these, and we've done the walkthrough with the engineer, DOT will get these plans.
Okay.
And these are 60% plans, so if we do want to change anything, we need to let him know by, I forgot my paper in my office, by the end of December.
So this, excuse me, this coming Wednesday at 2 o'clock?
At 2 o'clock. Mm-hmm.
You're meeting over at the...
We are meeting here downstairs.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
2 o'clock Monday.
So do we need to approve so that you can move forward that we're going with the trees? No.
We're going with the cutouts.
And the, when would you decide on the, you said every other?
Every other.
Okay. Do I hear a motion?
Okay.
Make a motion to move forward with the stamps and approve the sidewalk cutouts for tree or shrub or bush or whatever.
Some kind of greenery, right?
There we go.
I'll second.
It has been moved and seconded that we approve the stamps on every other what do you call that? Sidewalk?
Block.
Slab, okay. And we will have a cutout for trees for something of that nature. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, no. Passes 4-0.
All right, tonight we have 2 commercial facade grant applications. This year we put $30,000 into all of our grants. We just put it in a collective pool. So our first one is the Howard T. Odom Florida Springs Institute, and Heather is here to answer any questions that you may have. They have a very interesting project that they would like to do, and that is to put the mural that you can see if you go through their application. And it is a picture of somebody looking out of their building, like they're underwater. I think it's a great project. It's very cool. The artist that they would like to use, he's very renowned, and so I am recommending this. It has not gotten a certificate of appropriateness yet because this is a unique project. So before they would go before the historic board, I would like to get your guys' input first, because if you don't approve the funding, they probably will not be able to do it. So instead of them having to go to get a certificate of appropriateness and go before the historic board, I brought it to you guys first to get your recommendation.
It looks better up there than here in my hand. I didn't even know what it was. I had to ask my husband, what is that? But then I was looking at it like this, so. But it is unique.
That's for sure. But that's supposed to be a head up top. Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Yes.
With the snorkel on.
Yes.
Girl swimming, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And they are
Out of the
requesting,
building.
they're requesting $12,480 to do the project.
Where's this at?
What?
Where's it at?
Right across the street.
Over there.
Absolutely.
Come up
on
here
to
to the
the
podium.
The design that you all are seeing is, there's going to be some changes to it. We've received some funding from Alachua County to do this program. We've received $9,976.87 for this specific project. So I think we might need to amend our request to match that, I believe. But it will have some wording on there. We're thinking Land of 1,000 Springs and then High Springs, Florida will be fit into that design, as well as we do have to include the visit, or I think we can change it to visit Alachua County, but we do have to include something on there because we are receiving funding from Alachua County. The idea for this mural is that we get about 1 million visitors coming through High Springs to visit our local springs. And that's why we came here to High Springs and moved our offices and opened an environmental center. So we want to attract those folks who are coming from the springs or going to the springs to come in and learn more about our springs and also about the local businesses that are here, specifically the ones that are focused on ecotourism, because we want to promote those businesses and grow this community based on that interest. So that's why we're proposing this project. The idea is that you're seeing what the snorkeler is seeing in their mask. If you've ever seen one of the polarized masks, you can't actually see the person's eyes, you see what they're seeing. Most of the time you're seeing your own face because they're looking at you, but the idea was for them to see the different species that are in our springs and be curious about that and then come in and ask more questions about what am I seeing? And, what are the problems that we're dealing with in the springs? Because that's our goal, is to teach people about the problems we're dealing with as well as why they're beautiful and why we love them.
Anybody have any questions?
Amanda, does it affect anything with Alachua County giving them money as well as far as our grant policies and stuff like that?
No, we just do a 50% match. We don't ever require them to tell us where they're going to get their match from.
Okay.
So what does that, so the 12,000 would be down to 9,000?
Yeah, so Alachua County ended up giving us less than we had originally requested. We requested $15,000 and they offered us $9,976.87. I don't know why 87 cents, but they did. I'm going to a meeting next week to learn about what the requirements are for that grant. They've just awarded them, so I don't know the specifics, but I do know that we have some other components to fulfill that grant requirement as well that are not included in this proposal.
So the Alachua County money is your all's 50% grant?
Yes.
Match on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
I mean,
we will use some private
you're fine.
funding.
I'm just saying that's just so I understand why the money's going from 12 down.
Sure.
You're putting in 9,000. We would put in the 9,000. Doesn't matter where you're coming. That's fine.
Okay. Yep.
Okay.
Me personally, I don't have a problem with the picture or anything, but I would be a little curious before I approved it to find out what Alachua County is going to require you to do. I mean, if you have to put a 10 by 15 sign on there saying visit Alachua County, we're High Springs, we're not the county. So I would be a little curious as to what they're all going to require myself.
No, I think that would be, you would want a massive Alachua County on there as opposed to High Springs.
Yeah.
Why do we?
There is
you said you had to include something from Alachua County on there, in addition to the High Springs wording, correct?
Yes, you have to mark it that you received funding from that source to some extent. We didn't propose putting it in the design itself, but in advertising of the design. So there's another component to that project where we have to do a little bit of out-of-county advertising and social media use, and we would put visit Alachua County, like a hashtag in
So it's not something you have to put on the building?
It wasn't a stipulation for getting the approval, as far as I understand. I will, of course, ask for clarification next week at the meeting. I'd be happy to do that.
Okay, yes.
You could also make this contingent on make this award contingent on a final design being brought back to you with all the.
Is it Gainesville organization?
Yes.
Okay, that's not a county.
No, it's county.
That is not a county.
No,
It is.
It's a conglomeration of all the cities that put in the tax money from the
tourist development.
It is a tourist development.
Well, why don't we do that? Why don't we approve this pending, like it's coming back to us to see the final, right?
Yeah, when she has all the, if she's meeting with the county next week, they'll have a final
But that way she
design,
can
and
go
they're
to-
gonna have to, she's gonna have to go to the historic, review board, and so they can just bring back, the
But I'm
final
assuming it would be
proof.
beneficial if you go to the county and you have from us matching funds also. I mean,
Right.
Sure, I don't think they're going to change their funding. It's already.
No, I just mean that
Sure.
it's there.
Yes.
So what are you requesting tonight? Are you requesting just matching what the county's giving, or are you requesting the full 12,000?
I'm asking for the match.
Okay. Are y'all going to be able to do this project?
If we get the match, yes.
Okay. Even though it was budgeted for 24,000, now you're going to be getting a little about
We're going to use
19,000.
some foundation grant money, potentially from our own budget.
Well, I would propose we approve it pending whatever language court needs to deal with. Pending it coming back, the final approval.
Approval of whatever the dollar amount is, the $9,000, pending submittal of final proof to this board.
Is it 9 or 12,000?
I think she was saying it was 9,900.
It's $9,976.87.
Okay, so that would be our match too?
Yes, so instead of the 12,400, it would be this
Okay.
9,976.
So did you move that
Yes.
with the new amount? Okay, I'll second
With the
that.
new amount.
Okay, it has been moved and seconded that we approve the artwork for the High Springs Institute. Isn't that right? High Springs Institute? Pending final approval for $9,900 and then through the 87 cents. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those no. Approved 4-0.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. The next one is Dean Davis.
Yes, Mr. Davis has requested. Yeah. It's missing part of his.
He's missing part of it.
Yes, I don't know what happened to one of his pages. Hold on. But I can look at I do have them. Oh, I have it here. Yes, page 2 of his grant is missing. He's requesting $1,550. If you'd like, I can put it up on the screen. It must have been when I scanned it. One of them did not go through. And what he is requesting is to repaint the front of his building the same color that it is now, and put another, like a continuation mural from the mural he's already doing on the side. And he would be working with Brian Barkman, the same artist, to finish the mural. So it only goes a couple of feet. He does not have a final design yet for what that would be. So my recommendation is, if you approve it, it would be very similar to what you have approved for the Florida Springs Institute, pending a final review of the mural.
Don't worry about it.
So, but he's doing this is a grant, and he's doing some of this on his own. He's not.
Right. I mean, it's a matching grant.
Yeah, it's a match.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yes, it's a 30. The total project is 3,100, and he's asking 1,550.
Overlay, like they did here.
Got surface to paint and the paint.
So they're going to paint it, and then where's the sign going to go?
So the sign would be a continuation of the mural. As you can see, there's a little bit of space that he would like to put in to move over to where the roof comes down. If you look at this picture right here, he would like to extend the mural that is already there to meet with that roof line, and then repaint his front the same color that it currently is. He would just repaint it.
Any questions?
And we can approve this contingent upon the final production of the layout of the...
Yes, that is my recommendation.
Yeah.
Okay. Do I have to say that again?
Second.
Okay. It has been moved and seconded that we approve Dean Davis's request with being able to see the final drawings when available. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, no. Passes 4-0. Okay.
All right, we have another request. At the last CRA meeting, you approved River Run's request for a quilt mural. This is their requested one. It's a tree. They think it symbolizes the olive tree. And then on the next page, you will see the colors that they have selected.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's a very nice looking mural. I like it.
I saw it too. I thought this was really nice.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. No questions?
Who is this for?
No comment?
This is for River Run, the olive oil company. It'll go on the side that's next to Pizza to Go.
Okay. Any questions?
I'm happy with this.
Okay.
No, I'm not. Let me ask you this, whatever happened to the one with the flag?
We are working with him. We have given him a few other choices, and he's thinking about it. It may be a while. It took him a year to pick that one, so.
No. He's not the speediest person.
No.
All right, we have no questions on this one? All right, in that case, I'll make a motion that we approve the request from River Run for the mural.
And the other two will be going up next week as well.
Second.
All those in favor, it has been moved and seconded that we approve the quilt mural for Olive
River Run.
River Run, there we go. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, no. Passes 4-0.
All right, so our next one is pretty easy. We did get the new wreaths this year, and they're beautiful. They're so bright and green. So we need to declare our old stuff as surplus so we can dispose of it. So that is the really old Christmas tree. And then the broken wreaths. And then the next page you will see are what I affectionately call the ears. And they look like ears to me. And the old bulbs.
Hey, when I was 5 years old, those were cool, by God.
You saw those when you were 5 years old?
Oh, yeah.
Probably at least.
Those were here when I was growing up. And I don't think they were new then.
We bought them used.
Actually, I think we did.
What do we do with them?
Or?
I'm going to offer the ones that are working still to Archer.
Oh, okay.
See if they want them.
So we just need to declare these surplus and get rid of them.
Yes.
So moved.
Second.
It has been moved and seconded that we declare the old Christmas decorations as surplus. All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed, no. Passes 4-0. Next item.
Next.
What?
I say next.
Is the chair report, and I have nothing to report.
That's good.
I don't have much either. We also received the grant through Alachua County for the Tourism Development Grant for Music in the Park. We received just over $6,400, so that will go for marketing and to help pay the artists next year. So we should be able to bring in some great artists next year and get more people to come. We are also doing the Friday First Night tomorrow night from 5 to 8. I encourage you guys to come out and see the businesses, and we will have Supergirl there tomorrow night.
Oh.
Yes. She's also my daughter, so she had to.
I started to say volunteer for that.
Yes, she does cosplay, so she's got the whole costume, so I told her she had to come do it. I told her I'd give her $20, so she's doing it. And then the decorations are all in, and they will be going up next week, so we will have them all up and ready to go by the Christmas tree lighting.
That's
and then
great.
This is my last meeting here. I want to thank you guys. It's been a great 3 years. Learned a lot and had a lot of fun. So thank you for all the experience and letting me go and try some things out that I know probably were a little crazy at first, but thank you.
Well, for those of you who don't know, Amanda's going back home.
Yes.
And she's very excited about that. We had a talk recently about that, and she's very excited about going back home. So I have enjoyed working with you this year, and I wish you the best of luck.
All right, thank you.
Yep, I think I can't speak for everybody. I have two. And I say thank you for some of the things that you did too. Like you say, sometimes when you said them, we all say, what? But it turned out pretty good. So thank you for being able to take that extra step to do some of the things that you did do for us. We do appreciate that.
I just want to say I had a pleasure working with you last year when I was chair. I got on the board and council about the same time that you were hired.
Mm-hmm.
And I did notice, very clearly from the time you were hired to now, more people know about the CRA. We've had a lot more projects being done and actually come to fruition than from before you got on board. So definitely. I think you did a good job, and the CRA and the town's better for having you here. So.
And I'll also say, Amanda and I presented at the redevelopment conference. I don't even know what month it is. Sometime recently. And we were asked to.
Attorney has.
I know. It's been a long week already. Basically, we were asked to present on small town CRA getting an extension. But we got tons of compliments on everything that you've done as a board and everything the city has done, and just being a small town and a pretty small CRA district without some of the money that the larger CRAs were bringing in, and everyone was very impressed with the work you had done. So that's a compliment to Amanda, yourselves, and obviously city staff as well. So.
Very good.
It's kind of nice for you guys to get some recognition. And you weren't there,
but if you ever do get a chance to go to the state meeting, it is interesting because you think you have all these issues with the county, and then you find out, well, 90% of everybody else has issues with their county too. So it makes you feel a little better.
So you're not by yourself, right?
Exactly.
Well, I'll entertain a motion.
Motion to adjourn.
So